Everyone, today we are talking about signature scents, perfumes that can be worn for any occasion and leave that special mark just you can leave. Perfumes smell different on everyone, so whether you're wearing something popular or something obscure, that scent can never be replicated on someone else. So in that effect, every scent is sort of a signature scent, but these are fragrances that are very versatile in that they're not going to be too heavy for summertime or hot weather, or too light and breezy for the winter time. So let's get into these picks. First up is Coco Noir. Now this was released in 2012, and first off, I'd like to say I loved the commercial that went with this release. It's just the Coco Noir bottle and Black Celebration by Depeche Mode playing in the background. So cool. It just is evocative of everything that is this scent. I've heard different things about this scent. Some people say that the scent doesn't match the bottle, it's not dark enough, it's not deep enough. I disagree. This is darker than Coco Mademoiselle that came before it in 2001. And I haven't smelled cocoa, but this feels very modern to me. This has a top note of grapefruit. There's also a few different roses in the middle, geranium rose leaf, May rose. There is Venezuelan tonka bean and patchouli. I get the patchouli. I get the patchouli a lot and the rose, but it doesn't feel heavy. There is a sort of lightness to the scent. It's almost like a whisper of a scent around you, but it feels slightly mysterious. And that is not to say that you can't wear this to the office. Date night, summer night, springtime. I feel like this can be worn anytime, and especially as a signature scent. This to me is the type of scent that just feels like you're a boss when you're wearing it. It just feels very classic. It feels very cool. And there's a part of me that will always just kind of be a little bit like, angsty 90s. Love a black bottle. And this is a very sophisticated version of my feelings. Next up is Valentino Donna. And speaking of bottles, the way that it looks is just so beautiful. The scent is equally as beautiful and as sophisticated. And actually, when I first smelled this fragrance, I got it as a sample when I purchased something else. And one of the things that it left me with was this floral feeling when I first got it. And I was like, oh yeah, that's pretty. And then as I kept wearing it, it gave me that sort of lipsticky scent, and not in a vintage way. It felt very modern, and that is of course the iris note in this. This also surprisingly has leather in it, and I say surprisingly because I don't like leather scents, but as my nose is getting more adaptable to certain things, I know that not every leather note smells like a pair of shoes or like a bag or something like that. It can be suede-y, it can be soft, and that's what this is. I actually thought it was more woody, but I think that is actually the leather note that's in here. Something else that it has is patchouli, which I think helps a lot with this lasting power. There's also benzoin, there's vanilla, which again helps with lasting power. And this isn't a vanilla scent, definitely not. It's not super sweet, but there is a bit of a sweetness to it. This has some weight to it, but I wouldn't say it's too weighty for the summertime. It's not going to be a super fresh citrusy scent, or like something like Beach Walk from Replica. It's not going to be, it's not going to be on that level of lightness, but you can absolutely wear it in the summertime. If it feels too heavy or too cloying for you, then I would suggest switching it up in the summer. but I think that this is definitely an option, especially on a summer night, a date night. This is something that can be worn in close quarters with other people. It's mass appealing, and the sillage is good, but it's not like a beast mode fragrance. You know, you're not going to choke people out when you wear it, unless you like spray a lot and, you know, and make it that way. But this is definitely not a super aggressive type of fragrance. I just feel sophisticated when I wear this, just like I'm stepping out of like a town car or something like that. Never have I done that, never done it. It's just a little confidence booster, in my opinion, and one of the most beautiful fragrances in my collection. I did hear that they were going to discontinue this, but as far as I know, that hasn't happened. I still see it on certain websites, and I will link those down below along with everything else. Next up is Nordic Cedar by Maya and Njie. I will go ahead and put in the cards my full review of this fragrance. This is from a niche brand, and it's hand bottled, so it feels very unique, and the concept behind it is very unique as well, which I get into in the full review. But, you know, very briefly, what this will start with some cardamom in it, and it'll give a sort of spiciness, but there's also a chilliness to it as well. You feel like you're in the forest on a cool fall day. And then the cedar comes in. There's also ambergris in there. So for me, it gives me a sense of like an oceanic note. It feels adaptable. It feels part of you. It has, you know, a closeness to it. Like it sits very close to the skin. Since these are hand bottled, the perfume is not going to smell the same when it's first bottled as when you get that last spray. So in a sense, it's kind of alive as a perfume. I know all perfumes sort of grow and change, but Maya and Njie actually puts this in her literature, and that sort of reminded me of this scene in Sideways where Virginia Madsen is talking about how when you open a bottle of wine on one day, it's not going to taste the same as on any other day, because wine in essence is a living thing.
Because a bottle of wine is actually alive.
That sort of reminded me of this and the very, you know, sort of natural process that it goes through as a niche perfume. So Nordic Cedar is one of my absolute favorites, and I love it. Perfect for a signature scent and works in any season. Moving on to Jasmin Rouge, I just have this little sort of sample splash here. This is so beautiful. People say that this is very sexy, it's very date night, you know, and in that sense, I don't think this is typically thought of as a signature scent. I definitely think it could be a signature scent. That all comes down to the sort of freshness that this scent gives me. It's got enough weight to it with the jasmine sambac, and there's a spiciness to this scent, but there's also a freshness to this scent. It has ylang-ylang, it has amber in it, black and white peppercorn, so that's where you get that spice, but it does feel floral. It has a definite sweetness to it from the florals, and to me it's very versatile. When I first smelled this, I thought of springtime, but since it has the amber in it, it would make it great as a fall or a winter fragrance if you still love florals, if you like wearing florals all year long. It definitely has a sexiness to it. It can be worn on date night, but there's something to the scent that feels a bit cooling to me, but it also feels very full and rich, but can definitely be worn in the summertime. It's not one of those heavy, you know, kind of like weighing you down type of fragrances. I actually hugged one of my very good friends when I was wearing this, and she was just like, "You smell beautiful." And it, like, that is what I want to hear when I wear a perfume. That's just the reaction that I'm kind of looking for. So this definitely is something that I can wear all year round for any occasion, and for that reason, this to me is going in the signature scent category. Now on to, as you can see, one of my absolute most used fragrances. This is Mon Guerlain by Guerlain, and aside from being a beautiful bottle, this scent is equally as gorgeous. To me, I've heard people say it's sweet but not too sweet. This is sweet. This is definitely a sweet scent. I would say that some people would think it is too sweet. The thing that makes it uplifting is the lavender. You're going to get a lavender scent mixed with this vanilla. There's a texture to it. There's a texture that feels a bit fuzzy, but because of the vanilla, I feel like it can be worn in the winter time, but because of the lavender, it can be worn in the summertime and not feel heavy. This, for me, is my date night scent. It's also my vacation scent. I wear this anytime I want to have a good time, so that when I wear it and I'm feeling down, it reminds me of those times. I obviously can't get enough of it, and I've obviously had a lot of really good times, so I will be repurchasing this, but it's beautiful, again, for any occasion. I really wrestled with including this last one. This, I would say, is more of an honorable mention than anything else. This is Coco Mademoiselle by Chanel. It has this burst of orange in the beginning, and then it goes into rose and patchouli, and I was thinking of leaving it out because so many people talk about it and so many people wear it, and for lack of a better term, some people think this is very basic. This is a basic fragrance. And, you know, maybe they're right, but honestly, if you are not in the fragrance community, if you're just like going about your day and you don't really think too much about what everyone is wearing, there's not really a fragrance that most people think about. You know what I mean? It's not like Giorgio Beverly Hills. Like Giorgio Beverly Hills very famously, you know, was banned in certain restaurants, especially in Los Angeles, because it was so strong that it interfered with the scent and the taste of the food. Like, there's not a Giorgio Beverly Hills right now. If you are not part of the fragrance community, nobody cares. Like, nobody really cares, like, that you're wearing Coco Mademoiselle and everyone's wearing Coco Mademoiselle. And just because everybody's wearing it is not a good enough reason for me not to talk about it. I think that this is a perfect signature scent if you are just starting to wear perfume. This scent is the least offensive scent that I have ever smelled. You can definitely wear it in close quarters with other people who don't have the same appreciation for perfume that you do. It is great for an office. It's great for a date night. It's great for the summertime, the wintertime, the springtime. It just is an easy reach, do-it-all scent. Again, bolster the same way that I do with Coco Noir. If I have a heavy work day ahead of me, maybe not a presentation, but like a really heavy work day ahead of me, and I just need something that is going to uplift me and make me feel like, you know what, you come this far, you can do it, you can get through this day, this week, you know, this time, this project, then I wear Coco Mademoiselle so that I can feel better, that I can feel like, yeah, I can do it. This is, you know, my feelings again in a fragrance, but I just think it's good. I think it's good, and if you're worried about wearing something that everyone else is wearing, just remind yourself, nobody really cares. Like, and if they do, like, what are they doing? You know what I mean? Like, why do they care? You know? So that's my case for this fragrance. Take it, leave it, do what you will with it. All right, so that's it for my signature scent favorites. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what your favorite signature scents are in the comments below. Please help me get to 1,000 subscribers. If you can, it doesn't cost anything. You can always change your mind. I really appreciate you spending your time with me, and I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye-bye.